4,500 years ago, a city stood on these plains, with bathrooms in its houses and covered sewers under its streets, yet no palace, no temple, and no king anywhere in sight. Then it vanished, and to this day we cannot read a single word it wrote. For nearly 1,000 years, no one even knew it had existed. Then, in the 1920s, archaeologists expecting a small ruin instead unearthed a sprawling metropolis, and the history of ancient India had to be rewritten. This was the Indus Valley civilization. Egypt had its pharaohs, Mesopotamia its kings, but the Indus was bigger than both, the largest of the world's first 3 great civilizations. It spread across a vast land along the Indus and the now vanished Ghaggar-Hakra rivers. At its peak, between roughly 2600 and 1900 BCE, it may have been home to over 1 million people. Now, imagine walking its streets. The first thing that strikes you is the order. Wide roads laid out on a perfect grid, crossing at clean right angles 4,500 years ago. Every house was built from baked bricks of the exact same size, the same proportions in cities hundreds of kilometers apart. Someone, somehow, had standardized an entire civilization. But the real marvel was hidden beneath the streets, covered drains carrying waste away from nearly every home. This was the world's first city plumbing, built millennia before Rome. In Mohenjo Daro alone, there were over 700 wells, and many homes had their own bathing rooms. Everyday comforts the rest of the ancient world wouldn't see for thousands of years. At the city's heart sat the Great Bath, a giant, perfectly watertight pool. No one knows for certain what it was for, but most believe it held sacred public rituals. Towering storehouses held grain for tens of thousands. Everything points to a society organized with astonishing care, but organized by whom? Because here is the strangest part. In all these cities, there is no grand palace, no towering temple, no giant statue of a ruler, no royal tomb stuffed with gold. Barely any weapons, and no scenes of war. So who ruled the Indus cities? Priests? Merchants? Councils? After a century of digging, we still don't know. What they truly mastered was precision. A single system of weights, tiny cubes cut in exact ratios, was used across the whole civilization for fair trade in every market. And they were traders. Indus seals and beads have turned up thousands of kilometers away in the markets of Mesopotamia, proof of a trading network that spanned the ancient world. They were brilliant makers, drilling impossibly fine carnelian beads, casting bronze, and building a dockyard at Lothal to load ships with cargo. They even grew and wove cotton, some of the earliest in human history, dressing in soft cloth long before most of the world had the idea. But their greatest enigma is small enough to hold in your hand. Thousands of carved seals, showing a mysterious one-horned unicorn and lines of tiny symbols. Those symbols are writing, and no one on Earth can read it. For 100 years, the Indus script has defied every codebreaker, an entire language, perhaps locked away forever. Yet their art still reaches us. A tiny bronze figure we call the Dancing Girl stands hand on hip, so confident and alive she looks ready to step off the pedestal. And the calm stone face of the priest king stares back across 45 centuries, though whether he was priest, king, or neither, no one can say. But they weren't only mysteries. They left toys, little terracotta carts, dice, game pieces, and jewelry, the small, familiar joys of people not so different from us. And here is the twist. They never truly disappeared. DNA from the ancient city of Rocky Garhi shows the Indus people are direct ancestors of hundreds of millions of South Asians alive today. So if they're still here, what happened to their cities? Around 1900 BCE, the great metropolises began to empty. But there's no burned rubble, no invading army, no great battle. The real culprit seems to have been the climate. The monsoons weakened, and the once mighty Ghaggar-Hakra River the lifeline of countless cities, slowly dried to dust. As the water failed, the people simply walked away, east into smaller villages. The Indus world didn't die in fire. It quietly came undone. A civilization of 1 million people, lost for 4,000 years. Yet its cities, its silence, and its blood still run through us today. And somewhere in that unread script, its greatest secret is still waiting to be found.